So yeah, we got ourselves Secret Illusion 53, Secret Soundtrack number 19, and we got ourselves a little tablet fragment. And then as you can tell, that if we actually equip ourselves, or we actually got ourselves a key right there, this means is that we actually got ourselves a secret missions. So you know. Alright, here we go on to the second boss fight in the game, and also the first Werehog boss battle, which will have to be probably the easiest boss fight in the Werehog boss battles, which was Dark Gaia Phoenix, which was the entirety of the boss in Chunon as a whole. So basically the idea for this version of the Dark Gaia Phoenix is that, well, it almost feels very similar objective-wise as it does it for the HD version of the game. But except the noticeable difference is that we're walking in a, well, we're running into the, a bit wide open, a bit bigger for the arena itself. But basically how this boss fight is that we have to constantly chuck the water barrel at the Dark Gaia Phoenix himself. You know, the one that we actually did solve from earlier on from the Rising Dragon Falls. So yeah, it kind of feels more likely just to be more like that. So after when you're trying to do that, you probably extinguish him for in fire. That if you're trying to mash the L and R buttons as much as you can do from the Nintendo GameCube controller, you're gonna have to put up with 6 buttons of these quick time events. And if you if you do these button correct sequence correctly, that way they'll actually deal the damage on Dark Gaia Phoenix. And as far as the battle gets even progressively even a bit further ahead, this means is that it'll actually starts to change the amount of like hits of the water barrel's detection. Which, for instance, we actually did done the first phase as a result, so that we can actually chuck just only one water barrel. And I believe we're in the second phase, technically speaking, because we need to chuck 2 water barrels at the Dark Gaia Phoenix. So, as far as getting the S rank in this particular, these battles, as you can tell, that's a bit different than the ones in daytime stages for the boss battles, is that you're gonna have to reach a certain, although you still have the exact same, like, method, like, beat a certain amount of time. But, however, the S rank onto there, it doesn't usually show up. The only time you get an S rank in these boss battles is by basically beating these bosses for under 5 minutes. So as you can see, we're doing pretty well right there. So even then though, the only time you need to take yourself so easy is by basically just like press the corresponding button sequence in it with quick time events. So that's far as we just want to mention that from now anyway. So now we come to the third and final phase to actually just to compete against it. And basically, we need to chuck 3 water barrels at him. So, yeah, and after we need a certain amount of water barrel hitboxes, then we pretty much guarantee that we can mash the L and R buttons as much as we can. So, apart from that though, he's a pretty simple and easy boss fight though. Granted though, the only time you might get hit by him is by basically he actually shooting out those feather projectiles, which if you get hit by that, you'll lose a bit of some health, so you just gotta be very careful and just be super precise with that. So if you get these button sequence wrong, then it basically does, it doesn't do that much of the damage. But the only time you might see it differently between this, as you can see right now, as well as the other part where you didn't see the footage on. But basically what that is that Werehog, Sonic the Werehog did actually look on the opposite side as opposed to looking forward after dealing with just trying to carry his head. So there we go, that's Dark Gaia Phoenix and the Wii/PlayStation 2 version. It's a bit easier though, but just a bit more like a bit bigger when it comes to like the arena itself. So anyway though, we got also the additional sun medal with that as a result, and we got 1000 force points every time when you're trying to beat the bosses, which always comes in handy. Especially if you want to get like a little bit of some more upgrades to that. So now we managed to save him after dealing with some other stuff. Granted, it doesn't show the cutscene where Sonic actually checks on him to actually see if he's alright. And then when Chip actually sorts this little glowing stone, and then if he grabs that, the thing actually blinks. And then they'll actually access to opening the Gaia, the Temple of Gaia, and they tune on. Now we got ourselves the red chaos symbols being now finally restored, and also that the third continent has been restored as well. So, that was a piece of cake.
The moment the temple lit up, the beast woke up. It appears he's come back to his senses.
I see. I'll bet your job is to guard the Chaos Emerald Temple. You must have gone berserk when the emeralds lost their power.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Want some chocolate? So long!
Seriously, Chip? That's all you're literally trying to say about him? Like, giving him a chocolate? I don't know about you, Chip, but you're just sometimes crazy. Yeah, as far as we already know that.
Your dinner, Doctor.
Thank you. What's the progress on the Dark Gaia-powered Eggman Land construction system?
Current status is 27% complete. Progress is significantly behind projected timetable. Presumed cause of delay is Dark Gaia's dispersion across the globe.
Oh, of all the lazy, here I go to the trouble of waking that Dark Gaia thing up, and it causes me nothing but delays.
Dark Gaia had yet to reach maturity within the planet's core, ergo it was still incomplete at the time of its awakening, ergo it was unable to sustain its own weight upon its release, ergo it scattered around the world.
I don't want to hear about its weight issues. So what if I gave it a bit of a sudden awakening? This is unacceptable.
Ergo, this is the repercussion of your hasty actions.
What was that? I'm having a bad enough day as it is. First that professor runs off with the Gaia manuscripts, and now the planet's coming back together.
That, Doctor, is the result of the power of the Chaos Emeralds, which you discarded along with Sonic. Ergo, another repercussion of your hasty actions.
Quiet, you junk heap! That was all part of my plan, part of the big picture. Where's the fun in having my plans succeed without any challenge? Anyway, what's the status of the remaining temples of Gaia?
Eggman forces have currently secured all locations. Defensive preparations are nearly complete.
That'll take care of Sonic for now, which leaves the problem of Dark Gaia. It'd be difficult to collect every piece scattered all across the world.
Searching conventional wisdom banks for topical advice. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Slow and steady wins the race. Nobody likes a whiner.
Isn't there a more efficient way? Some way to, I don't know, gather them all up at once. Wait, that's it, of course! With this, all of my plans will be realized.
Somehow he's got a little bit of a computer going on, but it kind of reminds me of like a video game or something like that. So anyways, after we actually do it with Dark Gaia Phoenix, now we can actually go back to Spagonia, because as what Tails actually mentions to Sonic, that means that we have to go back to Spagonia so that we can actually see Professor Pickle to see what objectives are we going to be doing next. So after all, that we actually did done 2 continents right now, and now we're gonna be doing with even more continents to go. So so far that we pretty much, technically speaking, we're sort of halfway done with this. So but even that we're not exactly done with the entire game just yet. So the next things we're about to be hit into is both Spagonia and Chunan, which this means no more Werehawks for the time being, because, well, it will be majority of every single stages we're about to be run into, it will be daytime stages. So yeah, about freaking time. Because even then, it has been a while since we actually been done daytime stages. Then I think last time we did done it was actually Alaska Day in Cool Edge. So yeah, that was last time that we actually did play any of the daytime stages, so yep, we're glad to be back to actually be involving for the daytime action, so here we go. So here we go, onto the, you know, the second temple of Gaia Gate, so let's see if we can actually access to the daytime door right here. But even then it starts glowing, so, you know, you should probably suggest by now. So, yeah, let's go ahead and hop in. So then, the daytime stage on this particular Spagonia, it will be easily known as Rooftop Run, which will happen to have to be one of my favorite stages of the entire game, mostly because the music is really damn catchy, as well as the environment itself looks very, very impressive from the looks of it, especially on the HD version of Sonic Unleashed for the 360 and PlayStation 3. And also, if you do, or you noticed already, if you've been following through our playthrough, or in this case, I think Mickey and Mario did actually done Sonic Generations for the Xbox 360 playthrough. If you've been following on that particular playthrough, that, well, this stage actually do make its own return from Sonic Generations for the console versions, except the 3DS version, because the 3DS version actually has a different amount of stages than the ones in the console version. Granted, you still have the Green Hill Zone in the beginning, but except the rest, like every single stage is through the 3DS version between the console versions, which is pretty much different. The thing is because the 3DS version actually has some exclusive handheld stages, as opposed to the console versions actually get some console stages from the, well, from Xbox 360 or something, I don't know. Sort of weirdo. So this stage is very, very remarkable for the looks of it, and for the most part though, it's really fun to actually play on. And yeah, in order to get the ace rank on this level, we have to beat like under 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So even then though, it won't be that hard, assuming we actually just memorize the level design very, very nicely too. Oh wow, we almost get like combos onto action chains from 10. But even then though, it could have done a bit more than that though, considering how we actually kept on like homing attack into enemies and stuff, so yeah. Or occasionally you're actually gonna try to go ahead and just, you know, do sorts of amount of like you know, obstacles that you could actually get into. As far as in this stage is concerned, if you've actually been playing on the 360 and the PlayStation 3, that one of these upgrades you can actually get in the Spagonia, it will be the wall jump boots, which you can only find in the secondary hub world in the HD version of the game. But even then though, in the Wii version and PlayStation 2 version, you get it from the start, so that's actually pretty sweet if you kind of think about it. But I don't really mind actually having ourselves a little bit of upgrading items from the HD version, but even then though, it might be a bit of a, like, I don't know. So while performing some wall jumps in this version is basically the same thing as the HD version, except that, although it's pretty much exactly how it functions, the same thing. So basically if you hug into the wall, then the only thing, you just have to tilt the either left analog stick to the right analog stick. It depends on what walls you'll be jumping between wall to wall. So yeah, that's how this usually, how wall jump works in this version. And then if you can tell from the end of the level, that you get ourselves a hidden item box. So hooray, we got ourselves an S rank. Even then though, that back in Alaska Day, that we didn't get in the S rank because we constantly dying a lot. But we're not exactly done with this yet, because we only got some missions to deal with. I believe you can only do one mission on this particular stage and that's it. So basically we're gonna have to collect 200 rings. Quite a lot though than the ones in Alaska Day though. As well as Apatos as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get some rings. So you know, sometimes we have to take it easier just to actually don't bypass those little stuff. Oh gosh, of course. Yeah, because of that, it has been a long while since or a very long time since we actually played this version of Sonic Unleashed. More so than the ones in the Xbox 360 version, because even then, that definitely seems to already done the HD version of Sonic Unleashed. I think it was roughly 2 years ago right now. But there we go, there's the 200 rings grabbing, it's been done. And since we actually finished those two stuff in Spagonia, we got ourselves the first piece of the planet key. Speaking of the planet key, that's you remember how we actually did defeat the Dark Gaia Phoenix? Well, apparently though, after we actually did finish the third act of Junon Night, that we instantly jump into the boss itself, which is kind of odd to me, because back in the HD version of Sonic Unleashed, that basically if you finish the entirety of Dragon Road Nighttime stage, mostly in Act 1 of Nighttime, that if you finish that level and then you can actually access to the actual boss pad, which if you actually trying to fight one of the like some nighttime bosses, you'll just go there. But apparently in this version, as well as the PlayStation 2 version, if you somehow finish the third act of the in nighttime Junon Night, you instantly get into the boss battle straight away. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Originally they were just trying to make you just to give you a key in order to get to the boss itself, but it's kind of weird. And since that Junon was almost done right here, so that means we can actually deal with the daytime stage in Junon Day. So yeah, that's how this works basically. So, but even then though, that's you know. Okay, so now we actually revisit to the third temple for, let's say, the final time on this place, because even then though, I have no idea why we go through here. We're just gonna show you off what the you know, if you're immediately trying to get into the if you're about to refight against with Dark Gaia Phoenix, then you probably can, but let's just skip that for now. So let's go ahead and access to the daytime door, so that we can actually do yet another daytime stage. So it's usually 2 daytime stages in a row for this video so far, which is quite good considering how, you know. Okay, quick right there. Sorry about that, folks. It's just a little bit of interruptions here. So yeah, let's get started with Dragon Road, which was, I think that's what this stage is called in the Junon daytime level. So yeah, this stage is a lot of fun as well, especially when it's like consists of when usually I still most prefer the HD version of Junon Day, is because the only trickiest part I found for this level, although when it doesn't bother me too much, but I have no idea what we're just trying to say right there, but the only tricky part I found for this excuse me. The only part I found that's really hard to me sometimes is that when you come to this section right here, granted there's like multiple pathways you can take, that if you somehow accidentally just activate the boost button onto this little sequence right there, like we're gonna have to walk into that trail of the light speed dash, like light speed rings. And then sometimes though, you might accidentally just use the boost button and then you will, and this will fall off and you instantly fell into the water. Which, in our own time, that we did have we did have some really hard time on this stage specifically, even though when we first got the game as well. So anyway though, so this is another part where you do a small jump right here. And then in the HD version of Sonic Unleashed though, that another upgrade was actually located in Chunan. If you play the Xbox 360 version, PlayStation 3 version, you get the air boost, or the air boost shoes, which this allows you to actually you instantly boost in midair. So even though some people complain that it'll be the exact same button placement for that particular part, but honestly I don't mind it too much, but it's just it kind of feels a bit too missed opportunity when that happened right there. Oh, I like this part, surfing for this water right there, which is kind of cool if you ask me, but hey, at least it does remind us being like acting like some alternate routes or anything, so yeah, that's kind of cool. So, in this case, alternate routes even, so pretty cool actually. And then I believe if you actually come into this pathway right here, and I'm assuming that we haven't shown you guys about something onto Alaska Day, but once you see those blue springs right there, this allows you to do a little quick time event, which I'm assuming you only have to press like A button for the most part. And if you press the A button, like in the correct spotting button, then you can actually hop into another pad or another. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. And there we go, that's the end of Chunan Day. Pretty cool for that level, though. Like, I just wish that how, although granted though, at least they'll give like a Super Mario 3D World for that little bit of a credit to actually having a China level, which is pretty impressive. So anyway though. So once again, we got ourselves 3 moon medals right now. And truth be told, once again, we're gonna have to deal with some missions. So I believe first off, we're about to be hit into for the mission objectives wise. I'm pretty sure it's collecting rings. Yep, collecting rings. And just like Spagonia, we're gonna have to collect 200 rings. So, this shouldn't be too hard. Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and... dang it. Yeah, if you messed up for this quick time events onto this ramp right here with the button sequence and everything, that's, you go into the different routes as opposed to the, let's go to a different route even, as opposed to, the top path from, if you successfully do these button sequence correctly, so, not messing up. Another thing is worth noting here is the fact that, I don't know. I'm just getting confused at this point. So anyway, though. So yeah, you know, pretty fun level though to tune on, you know, the level environment that it takes place in China. So you know, right. So we only got about 25 rings left. In fact, we pretty much almost collected everything right now. The only remaining rings that we have to collect now, I think it was this section right here. And there we go. So that concludes that mission. It's not that hard of a mission though, kind of think about it. And no hidden item though, so whatever. But even then, we can't be bothered to actually just to do that. So anyway, now onwards to, I'm assuming this is the last mission in Chunan Day, which was don't break anything along the way. So very similar to how it does in Alaska, where we're gonna have to not to break any sort of jars, or in this case, well, it's been replaced by some icicles, so icicle things is now replaced by some jars, because that was usually based off of, you know, some other objects you can find from this here. So, you know, that's how it's... Oh, crap. No! We shouldn't have done that. Alright, here we go again. Let's see if we actually can pass it this time. Okay, we gotta be careful right there. Yeah, I apologize for that part right there. It's probably just because you know that enemy projectile is constantly shooting the missile. We got distracted by that image, so Yeah, let's try that again. So hopefully we're not gonna mess everything up in that part. So sometimes though it might be a bit tricky, but it feels very similar to how it does in Sonic and the Secret Rings. Don't break any jars, and I think it's in Sand Oasis level where one of those missions that you don't need to break a jar. So that's how it usually just goes up with it. But even then, though, it doesn't feel like motion controlled heavy, unlike Sonic and the Secret Rings handles. But even then, though, that you can actually just control Sonic with the analog stick as opposed to moving left or right. Which, And then, there we go. That's the end of the level. Yep, because of this little stab spears, which means it was actually blocking the pathway. So we're pretty much done with Chunon for now. And I think we actually did done Chunon as a whole. So now we're gonna head back to Spigonia because we actually did collected those planet keys, but we're not gonna do that right now because we're gonna have to end things off here. So next time on Let's Play Sonic Unleashed is that we're gonna head back to Spigonia, and then hopefully we can actually do the next boss in the game, so to speak. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later, fellas.